Get up, let me begin. This is TWSN. You ain't heard about us yet, well you better know now, because it's the place that it all goes down on.
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of ShopTalk. Trey decided to be a coward and go to the hospital, so he's not with us today. Fortunately, we have Michael Daly coming from us from TWSN. He typically covers combat sports, but I'm more than happy to have him here today. Being a Vikings reporter for us, it's a good little episode to have him on.
Happy to be here. I don't know if I'd go as far to say Trey's a coward because he is a football player, so I want to give him his due there, but great to be on with you, Dominic. I appreciate it.
No, it's soft. Don't give him that credit. So today we're going to get started off with talking about Cam Newton's return to the Panthers. If Trey was here, he'd be super fired up about this. Just for some background information, Michael, Trey and I chose the Panthers to be our sleeper team for the NFL this year, so we've been kind of rooting for them, pulling for them. It was looking good at the beginning. Obviously, Sam Darnold kind of fell apart. Cam Newton, going in this weekend, is actually being projected to be the starter from his coach, Matt Rule, obviously having 2 touchdowns in a few plays for them this weekend in the 34-10 win over the Cardinals. Moving forward, Michael, how are you feeling about Cam Newton and this new Panthers team?
Been there, done that.
Right.
I know a lot of people were excited to see him make his return. It was kind of a bookend because his first career start in 2011 was at Arizona, and then he made his return with the Panthers at Arizona as well. But look, we saw what he's capable of as a starter in New England. Is he really going to be better as a starter in Carolina when Sam Darnold has struggled? I don't know. I look at him right now as more of a gadget guy. If I'm Matt Rule, I think I'm going to lean on P.J. Walker, but it doesn't seem like they're doing that, Dominic.
Oh, see, that's the issue I'm having too. I actually 100% agree with you. They have a very winnable game this weekend against the footballs. So I'm not exactly worried if Cam Newton were to be the starter. I think as we move forward in the season, we might see, there be an issue with the longevity of Cam Newton and his talents that he currently has in the league. But I will say this, the team needed a spark, right? The team needed something. And you saw watching the game and even like in post game, Cam Newton's already the leader of this team. He showed up and he's already taken over a leadership role. I personally like P.J. Walker a lot. I thought he was going to challenge Sam Darnold, and obviously he did take the spot ultimately. But we're going to see Cam Newton be sort of like a spark plug player in comparison to the NBA. It's a guy that's going to come off the bench and he's going to give them a chance. Now, as a starter, as you were saying to your point, I don't know at this point of his career if that makes that big of a difference for them. But I feel like with this new inspiration, with him back, I think we can see the Panthers squeeze themselves back into one of the back seeds for the playoffs.
The one thing that does help, and I think bodes well for Cam, if you look at Washington, they're without Chase Young. He's out for the season.
Yeah.
That's one less guy who can rush the passers. So, look, God bless Cam, right? If he has a successful outing for the rest of this season in Carolina, good on him. I still don't see them making the playoffs. I don't. I think Atlanta, who's playing tonight, has a better chance.
Well, I don't know about all that one. The Atlanta has all those guys, Calvin Ridley, for example, missing. If I were to choose between the Panthers and the Falcons, I'm actually going with the Panthers. And I feel like this just comes down to the fact that I think the Panthers are going to be the hot team to finish out the year, whereas the Falcons being 4-5 right now, I feel like they're already a step behind the 5-5 Panthers, who if the season were to end today, the Panthers are the 7th seed, right? This is a team that I feel like is going to have the momentum moving forward, as we talked about, having Cam Newton, whether it be a starter or a spark plug, to be just enough to edge out teams like the Falcons and clinch that 7th spot, 6th spot in the playoffs.
It's tough, though, because I consider the Panthers to be in a similar spot that the Vikings and the New York Giants and a few other teams are in, the 49ers. They're on that cusp, but can they hold it together? The Panthers, not only are they playing Washington this week, but then next week they play a Miami Dolphins team who right now could go on somewhat of a run. I don't think they're going to be a playoff team, but look, the Dolphins just beat the Ravens last Thursday night. So I don't think that will be an easy game either on the 28th.
Now, Michael, I want you to know this for my personal sake. No one but me called the Dolphins to win that game last week, right? When I feel like a team's going to win, I think a team's going to win. I think the Panthers are going to win the next couple of weeks. Okay. I think it's going to be a good look for Cam. I think Matt Rule is what they needed. And I don't know if he should be the starter, but I'm just glad he's back. Which takes us into our next point of team transitions. Odell Beckham and the Rams. As you can see from behind me, I'm a Cleveland guy. I'm a Browns fan. I had to go with Odell for 2 years. I kept believing in him. Really wasn't an issue with him as far as it was a fit for us. But now we see Odell on another team. He only played 15 snaps. Obviously, he's only been there for a week, hasn't learned the offense. He was targeted 3 times, caught 2 of them for 13 yards. But we already saw Odell-type plays that get caused when he's on teams when Matthew Stafford made an uncharacteristic play and chucked it up in double coverage after Odell stopped running his route. As far as you see this, Michael, how are you feeling about Odell and his fit with the Rams?
For full disclosure, Dominic, I'm a Los Angeles Rams fan. I've been for many years. I'm actually happy he is on the Rams. I am. Because although it may take a few weeks to adjust, that's natural and normal. Mm-hmm. If he gets going or when he gets going, I think the league will be in trouble because he's a dynamic playmaker. And the problem he had in Cleveland was that Kevin Stefanski and even Freddie Kitchens, when he was the head coach, they like to move the ball around with Baker Mayfield. Matt Stafford, if you look at historically, he's used to having that number one. This year, it's been Cooper Kupp, and then to an extent, he was able to rely on Robert Woods until that injury. Mm-hmm. There's a good chance that he could give Odell Beckham the keys if Cooper Kupp is having an off week and let him ride because Matt Stafford, he was used to that with Megatron.
See, this is what I will say in rebuttal to that. I feel like they would be foolish to go away from Cooper Kupp. When someone's playing at the level that he's playing at right now, I feel like you keep feeding the hot hand until it stops. And when it does stop, whether it be for a week or 2 weeks, you don't stop believing in it, right? You keep pushing it. I will say the Rams fell into a good position with not a good position, but a better position with Odell, with Robert Woods going down because now they look like geniuses. Because Robert Woods falls, well, Odell Beckham's right there to replace him. I think Odell will be a great wide receiver too in this Rams offense if he's able to, put aside all the other stuff, all the issues he had with the Browns. I'm not saying he was the problem with Cleveland. I will say his father posting Baker Mayfield lowlights, not a good look for him. But as long as they keep away from that sort of Odell drama, I think the Rams will end up seeing success with this transaction. And I don't think he's dead weight. I think that he's someone that is going to, help this Rams team win. I think we saw the Rams have a really bad week, and it wasn't on Odell. Obviously, 15 snaps, not much you can do on 15 snaps. Moving forward, I think this is a guy you're going to see heavily in the Rams offense.
You also have to take into perspective, too, I don't think the Rams expected to lose against the Tennessee Titans on Sunday Night Football. They lost. And then, historically, and in particular, on night games, primetime games in Santa Clara, the Rams really don't play that well against the 49ers on the road. So it was a tough outing, not the way the Rams wanted it to go. But I'm here to tell you, the Rams are going to prove a lot of people wrong very soon. And they're going to come out with a vengeance after the bye week. The same way the Bills did that against the Jaguars. They just thrashed the Jets. Teams do that because there's a lot of parity in the NFL.
No, absolutely. I'm excited to watch him move forward. Obviously, it's going to be fun to see Odell and see if he's able to fit in with the Rams. Either way, the Rams are going to be a playoff team. Let's just see if Odell is going to be the push to get them over the hump to take them to the next level. Every week, Michael, we pick 4 games, right? Trey usually gets them all wrong. I usually get them all right. You are now Trey this week.
Okay.
I hope I don't make a fool of you looking back at this next week. Obviously, it's your first time on the show. Let's see it. Let's hope we agree more than we disagree. 4 games. First game this week we're talking about, Michael, is the Chiefs-Cowboys. Who do you have winning this one?
Give me the Chiefs. Because you know what? The Cowboys, 1 week, you're getting destroyed by the Broncos. The next you come back and flatline the Falcons. What version of the Cowboys are we going to get against a Patrick Mahomes-led offense that is riding high right now? I don't care, Dominic, that they are 6-4. The Chiefs are still the Chiefs. Give me the Chiefs.
You just said something awesome. You don't know what Cowboys you're going to get. This year, we don't know what Chiefs we're going to get. I'm going to ride with the Cowboys because I feel like this is a team that has been putting it together, right? They've had a couple of bound to get bad games. The Chiefs are 6-4, right? The Cowboys are 7-2. They've only really had 2 major mishaps this year. I feel like the Cowboys are going to put it all together against the Chiefs, and not a must-win game. It's not a conference game, but it's a game that I think would look really good on their resume as they make a push to be the number 1 seed in the NFC, which I think they have a very high chance of doing. And I think if they're able to play well in games like this, even if the Cowboys come out and don't get embarrassed, they lose in a close one, I think that's a good moral victory for them. But either way, I'm taking the Cowboys in this one against the Chiefs. And we'll look back at this in a week, and we'll see who was really right here. This is a tough one. This is a game that I can see going either way for sure.
Absolutely. This is a game of the week type of match.
Oh,
Dominic.
No, that's a big-time game. But that takes us into another big-time game, and it could be a trap for the Buffalo Bills with the Bills and the Colts. This is a very winnable game for either of these teams. Obviously, the Colts have been really turning it on, and Trey and I made the agreement early on that we saw that they were going to switch gears. With that said, I'm going with the Buffalo Bills this game. I think that the Bills' offense is just too much firepower for the Colts to hang with, and I'm just not completely sold on Carson Wentz being able to win a dynamic quarterback battle against who I think a top 3 quarterback, Josh Allen.
I have to agree. The Bills, their loss to the Jaguars was an anomaly, in my opinion. That's going to happen. You are going to get clunkers. But I think against the Jets, you saw who the real Buffalo Bills are because they exposed Mike White defensively. The Bills are a sound defense, one of the top passing defenses in the entire league. They looked good, and I think they're going to make life miserable for Carson Wentz.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I really like this Colts offensive line. Don't get me wrong. I think that this is a team that after this week with a schedule that's a little bit easier than teams like the Buffalo Bills, that this is a team that could still, similar to how we were talking about with the Panthers, could squeak in as a 7th or 6th seed. I hope they don't because my Browns are going to need that spot. But, it's definitely a team with the talent to do so. And this is another game. Typically on this, we have a couple games where I think are going to be blowouts. But neither of these stand to me as blowouts. As we agree, the Bills are going to take this one. And another game that can be considered 50-50, Bengals-Raiders. But, Michael, I don't know how much you've seen me talk on TWSN. But you and your team of beat writers and specifically Malik have made me absolutely despise the Bengals. And whenever I get the opportunity to say they're going to lose, I say they're going to lose. I'm taking the Raiders here. Obviously, the Bengals had a really tough week against the Browns a couple weeks ago. I don't know, man. I'm going with the Raiders.
Zach Taylor's too good of a coach to lose 3 in a row. I think it's important, too, to understand the background of what's going on with the Raiders. All of the internal strife that's going on between John Gruden and the Henry Ruggs situations. That's tough for a team to bounce back from. And I give Rich Bisaccia a ton of credit. But that game against the Chiefs was in their control, so to speak. The Raiders had a chance in the third quarter to take it over, and they couldn't.
Right.
The Bengals are too good, in my opinion, Dominic, to let this one get away, even on the road.
Michael, that's what I got to say. The Bengals are not the Chiefs. Even with the downwards Chiefs team this year, I still don't think the Bengals in a 10-game series with the Chiefs win 3, right? This is not a team to compare to the Chiefs. I think if the Raiders play a game like how they played against the Chiefs, they're going to be able to just dominate the Bengals. And you say Zach Taylor is too good of a coach to allow the Bengals to lose 3 in a row. What has he really proved? I'm not saying he's not a good coach. He's young. He hasn't really proved what he's going to be able to do yet. He hasn't had a winning season yet. So we're going to see how he does this week, but I'm going with the Raiders.
He has more wins than he did last year. Last year, they were 4-11-1. So I think he's better off than he was in the past.
This is another game that, once again, if the Bengals do come out and win, I won't be surprised. This is a tough slate of games for a lot of teams this week. And it takes us to the final one, Vikings-Packers. Who do you have going here, Vikings writer?
I'm going to be unbiased here, and I'm going to say the Packers are going to get the victory here. Aaron Rodgers has been through a lot the last 2 or 3 weeks, and a lot of it was on him because of all the things he did with misleading the media and whatnot. But I think Aaron Rodgers is in a rhythm right now. And you know what, Dominic? The Packers right now are my favorite to reach the Super Bowl and get out of the NFC. The Vikings, they're going to play a close game because that's what they do. But they find a way to give games up. They almost, towards a sense, allowed the Chargers back into that game last Sunday. Aaron Rodgers is too good.
Yeah, I agree with you. I'm glad that you and I see eye to eye exactly on this one. I think that just Aaron Rodgers is too damn good at football. They're just some guys that are just too good, man. And I think he's just too good for this Vikings team to hang around with. They don't have enough firepower to put up a fight against him and the angry Green Bay Packers. But that takes us into our final take of this episode. That takes our viewers directly into Thursday Night Football. The Patriots Falcons. I mean, the Patriots embarrassed my Browns last week. Like, there's just no other way to put it. And I'm gonna assume that they're going to do very similar here to the Falcons. The Falcons obviously have been playing better of late, but isn't good enough to beat a Patriots team that's starting to look like the Patriots look, right? I mean, Mac Jones looks like a Patriots quarterback, and I'm very critical of Patriots quarterbacks. I think almost anyone can do it, but it's an offense that is proven. It's a team that is proven. I'm taking the Patriots tonight.
Same here. In this matchup, I'm going to compare Arthur Smith, who's a rookie head coach, going in on short notice against Bill Belichick, who's the greatest head coach in NFL history. 100%. Mac Jones right now is a system quarterback, but he's in a pretty darn good system with Josh McDaniels. Yep. Mac Jones, you know this, Dominic, sliced and diced that Browns defense, and Bill Belichick just swarmed Baker Mayfield. You're telling me he's not going to do the same thing with Matt Ryan? I think he is, and that's why I think the Patriots are going to get a win here. And you know what? We talked about the Bills and Rams being two teams, and the Chiefs, that have struggled, but they're going to show their true colors. The Patriots, they're in that process right now. They struggled, but they're out to show why they're one of the best teams in their conference.
Now, every year I take the Patriots to win close games. And this one, I don't really know if it's going to be as close as many predict. Just on the basics of the Falcons are a good team, but the Patriots tend to just roll through good teams. My Browns are a good team. They got freaking rolled last week. If the Falcons don't come in prepared, they're going to get sucker punched by the system, and it's going to be relentless, and it's going to be a brutal game. But that being said, Michael, thank you for doing better than Trey has ever done. It's good to have you on. I'm sure we'll keep in touch and bring you back on soon. We might have to bring you on for a segment next week to go over our takes, man. See who got more right.
I would love that, but also, though, I would love for Trey to get back on here because I know this is his show and you guys are a great duo.
Oh yeah, Trey's the man. I'll have to give him a call, make sure that he appreciated everything that we were saying about him tonight. But besides that, Michael, really appreciate you guys coming on. Make sure you go check him out. Follow him on Twitter at Michael Bray Daily. He is the man. He's going to get you some good MMA content, UFC content, and obviously, like we talked about on the show, he's going to cover the Vikings for you as well. Good guy. Great job on the show today, Michael, and glad you were able to get on.
Thank you, Dominic. Appreciate it.
You guys have a good one. Thank you.
Get up, let me begin. This is TWSN. You ain't heard about us yet, well, you better know now because it's the place that